Good evening, Lord Engelbrecht.
Good evening, Dr. Fry. How are you?
I'm doing very fine, thank you.
Excellent.
And good evening to you, viewers of the Lord and Dr. College Advice Show. What a fine night we're having tonight. The moon is out. The spring air is full of blossoming flowers. It's a beautiful day to talk about college writing 10A, which is the topic of our show tonight.
I wholeheartedly agree, Dr. Fry. Fantastic show we've got planned for you all this evening. We've had a ton of comments, a ton of questions regarding one class in particular, and that would be Professor Hill's College Writing 10A on public speaking.
Let's dive right into it.
Let's dive right in. Our first question comes from Jimbo, from my hometown of Dallas, Texas. Jimbo writes, how does public speaking compare to other classes you fine gentlemen have taken at Cal? Well, Jimbo, that's an excellent question. And we've actually got a fantastic graph here to illustrate our thoughts. You'll see we have Physics 10 and Business. Both pretty good classes on our class level of coolness scale. Here are our levels of coolness, here are our classes. You'll see Political Science, not that great, but still alright. However, you will notice Native American Studies, a class that I took, is on the negative end of the spectrum. Horrible class, steer clear. However, your attention cannot help but be diverted to public speaking with Professor Hill. Off the charts, if you'll notice, by the massive red arrow. A way cool class, and we highly recommend it.
Well, what a great question, what a great graph. Let's answer another question. This one has been asked by Terrence from my hometown of Davis, California, and he asked, does this class actually improve your ability to speak publicly? And of course, that is the most important question.
A pragmatic question.
Oh, if you do. So here, the fine gentlemen at Berkeley have devised another graph for us. We have time, and we have the public speaking ability. Now, as you can see, right as you enter this class, you're probably down here around awful. I know I was when I first started this class. Didn't know really what I was doing when I got up and had to talk in front of people. But as time went on, I learned many tools that improved my speaking and helped me become a better speaker. And as you can see, this arrow continues on. There's an arrow at the end of this line. And that's because the tools I have now, I can continue using, continue perfecting in the future.
Indeed, a fantastic graph and a fantastic answer from you, Dr. Fry. I believe time dictates we have one more question before we run out of time, and I think it's an interesting question.
Yes, it is.
One that we can tackle together.
Oh, of course.
This is from Lloyd Braun in New York, New York. Lloyd writes, hey guys, I'm signed up for public speaking in the fall with Professor Hill. What advice can you give me so I can succeed?
What a good question.
Dr. Fry, I'll hand it to you first and foremost. Two pieces of advice for the young lad.
Just two. Well, if I have to pick my two, my first would probably be a little known, but a very important piece of advice. On this campus, there's a nuisance known as Derek Hasbin. I would not recommend you take this class with that man.
Indeed, indeed.
Yes, very distracting. And the other piece of advice, which is even more crucial, is that you must understand that speeches are a conversation and not a performance. A conversation with your audience and with yourself. And speaking between the two, you learn how to have a good conversation addressing your audience.
Two fantastic pieces of advice, Dr. Fry, if I may say so. My two pieces, I'd like to elaborate on your final thought there. The notion of a conversation, in that a good conversationalist, as myself and Dr. Fry are, and we know, you must maintain eye contact. This speech is a conversation, it's not a performance. Maintain eye contact with your audience. And lastly, I'd like to say, what is crucial to make a good speech is a good neutral stance. No elaborate gestures, nothing distracting. A good neutral stance is the key to a good speech. Well, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have time for this evening. We'd like to thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week when we tackle another question about classes to take at Cal. Dr. Fry, thank you for a
Lord
fantastic
Engelbrecht,
program.
what a great night.